I've heard of road rage, but god damn! So Joyride tells the story of two brothers on a road trip home when they decide to play a practical joke on the wrong truck driver. What's up guys, and welcome back to another patron requested review. This one is requested by Jesse Jones, one of my loyal patrons. He picked Joyride, which fortunately for me has always been one of my favorite thrillers slash horror movies, whatever you want to call it. But it's a movie that I've always felt was very underrated, very underappreciated, so glad to be talking about it. Not gonna waste any time, I'm just gonna get right on into the positives of Joyride, and first thing I could think of is I love the cast of this movie.
Sexy choice. Vintage 1971.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'll drop him off in Denver. I'll see you tomorrow.
Breaker one, man. This is like a prehistoric internet or something. Can you do a woman's voice?
I've always been a big Paul Walker fan, always been a big Steve Zahn fan. Lily Sobieski, I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. She's cute, you know, she's not somebody that I see very often, but whenever she's in a good movie, she's always pretty good. But starting right off with Paul Walker, I mean, this is a guy that we all know as the Fast and Furious guy, and unfortunately he died a couple of years ago, way before he should have. But there's been quite a few movies outside of the Fast and the Furious franchise that I think he should be known for more than that franchise. This is one of them. The other one would be Running Scared, but that's a review for another day. But Joyride, he is great in the role of kind of the straight-laced brother. He's got a crush on Lily Sobieski. He's driving across country to pick her up, take her home, trying to win her heart along the way. Picks up his scheming little jailbird brother played by Steve Zahn, and Steve Zahn is great as always. This is a guy that, you know, sometimes he overacts a little bit. You know, he tries to be funny in roles that sometimes don't require him to be funny, but whenever he is on, like movies like this, movies like A Perfect Getaway, Saving Silverman's probably the funniest thing he's ever done, but whenever he's in a role where it fits his personality, he really shines, and this is one of those roles, because he's kind of the, you know, on the wrong edge of the tracks kind of brother, where he's always getting in trouble, he's always saying the wrong thing, but his style of humor really works in this. It complements Paul Walker very well. You really believe that they're brothers. They got a great camaraderie with each other, really good chemistry.
Hey there, this is Candy Cane. Who's this?
Rusty Nail.
If I were there, Rusty Nail, I'd make you feel good.
This is turning me on.
I'll be at the Lone Star Motel.
What room?
Room 17. I can't wait.
This is awesome!
Who the hell is it?
You know, they feel like those kind of younger brother that's always been the good guy and the older brother that's always been the one that the parents just like, ugh, he's not a part of my family. They play that very well. And Lily Sobieski, she's not the biggest character in the movie. She really doesn't even enter the movie fully until about halfway through it when all the shit's already gone down. But she is very good at being kind of this innocent-ish girl who is being pursued by Paul Walker, and she also has this mutual crush, but she also kind of has this, you know, attraction to Steve Zahn. There's a little bit of a love triangle thing going on. Those three characters play their roles very well. You want them to survive. You're good with following them for the runtime of Joyride.
We had a little incident here last night. The victim was staying in room 17.
What happened to him?
Ripped his jaw clean off.
And the only other casting I really need to talk about, honestly, is a voice casting, and that is the voice of Rusty Nail, played by Ted Levine. This guy has got one of the most notorious voices, one of the most recognizable voices, especially in the world of horror. We all know him as Buffalo Bill. He makes this movie scary because his voice coming across that radio makes Rusty Nail scary, because this is a character you really don't see that much. You only see him for a snippet in the last act of the movie, but it's all about the voice. It's all about the delivery of Ted Levine's lines. Candy cane, you know, all that kind of shit.
Hey, Candy Cane. Candy Cane. Anybody out there know Candy Cane? Her mama's boy. Bye-bye, black sheep.
That is crucial to making this movie work, and Ted Levine cannot think of a voice better to play that just grimy ass role of this truck driver on a path for vengeance for these two guys that fucked with him on the wrong day. Moving on from that, this movie really does a great job at building tension and maintaining that tension, and it's all because you never know where the hell Rusty Nail's at. Is he the truck behind them? Is he the truck a mile and a half behind them? Is he one of the headlights? Is he just watching them from afar? You never know, and that's genius about how they kind of implemented this radio.
Hey there, Rusty Nail, you hear this? Look, that was me, all right? I'm a guy. It was just a joke. It was just a joke.
Apologize.
Right. No, just do it.
Apologize to him?
Yeah. Yo, I'll do it.
This mysterious voice coming across the CB once in a while just to remind you that he's still out there, that he's still looking at you, that he's still coming after you. He could be next to you, he could be a mile away. You never know, and the movie just has that pliable tension throughout most of the runtime because of that factor alone. You never know where the fuck the dude is.
You're not getting anything from me. You know why? Because I have something more powerful than your psychosis. It's called a volume knob. And the only thing I need to do to make you go away is to turn it counterclockwise. You got that? You copy that?
You're no black sheep. You really ought to get that fixed.
Get what fixed?
Your tail light.
But even in some of the scenes when Rusty Nail is right there in front of you, whenever his truck is plowing through an ice truck, whenever he's following him through a cornfield, when he's got one of them locked up in a hotel room, setting up this Final Destination style death trap if they try to save her, all of those scenes, again, pure fucking tension, and it's perfect the way that they execute it. You really believe this dude is going to come at them with everything that he has. He's got the upper hand on them, he's smarter than them, he knows every move they're gonna make. Perfect villain. And there to cut through that tension once in a while is that kind of comedic relationship between our main characters. Not only between Paul Walker and Steve Zahn, but also between Paul Walker, Steve Zahn, and Leach Sobieski, that whole love triangle thing. There's a lot of really good comedic moments that don't feel forced, they don't feel out of place. Most of the time coming from Steve Zahn, but it does a good job of cutting that tension, making these characters relatable, and also just kind of easing you into your chair a little bit in these really intense moments just so they can ramp it right back up again. And a lot of that is due to the way that they paced Joyride as well, which they paced it very well. It starts off as just kind of like another, movie you go to see with Paul Walker and Steve Zahn. It's kind of half comedic. It's got a little bit of relatability there with the guy coming home from college. You're into the story, you're there with it. All of a sudden, boom, you're thrust into this situation where they got this killer after them, this prank going horribly wrong, a dude's jaw getting torn off, him left in the highway, now they're blamed for it. So much crazy shit. They feel like it's behind them. They move on with their lives. The movie kind of goes back down into just, chill mode. And you get to introduce to Leach Sobieski. Again, more just camaraderie between these three characters. We're settled. Okay, everybody's safe. Nope. Fucking Rusty Nail's back at it again. And then the movie is just gunning it to the finish from there until the final act.
So you still good or need me to drive?
And that final act is my final positive that I will talk about. And it's funny enough that this movie actually went through quite a few reshoots. If you have the DVD or the Blu-ray, you can actually watch the alternate ending. And it's like the last 25 minutes of the movie is completely different. And I'm glad they went with the ending that they went with, because although the alternate ending is interesting, it's not a terrible ending. It's really cool for a fan to watch, actually, is like this alternate version of the movie. But the ending that we get, where Rusty Nail gets Leach Sobieski's character, puts her in this little motel room, tries to reenact basically the prank that they played on him that went horribly wrong, and if they play it the way that it's supposed to be played, they're going to end up causing her death. All of that shit was just beautifully executed, especially when the police start getting into it and you get like this countdown where the police are trying to get in this room. They got to stop the police from coming in, or otherwise she's going to get shot in the face. But then Steve Zahn's in the back, and if they don't save him in time, the fucking truck's going to run him over. Tension, baby, tension. But with all that being said, honestly, my only negative for this entire movie does take place in that ending that we have that they reshot and decided to go with. And that's the small, very minute scene where they actually show Rusty Nail. And they show the dude who's going to be playing him as like this stunt double. He has a different voice that is not Ted Levine. Literally all he does is he pulls Steve Zahn's head up and says, "Watch this, it's going to be hilarious." But just that one little tiny bit of seeing Rusty Nail, for me, really undermines how creepy of a villain he is. I think this movie would have been 100 times better, even though I still love it, if we'd have never seen the guy. If it would have just been the voice, if you just saw the truck, you never knew if it was him, if it was somebody else. Just the fact that we got to see him for that small little scene, I feel like was a big mistake. Even though I love the way the third act plays out, every time I watch this movie, I see it, I'm like, we're horror fans, we know that's not Ted Levine. If you're gonna show him, at least get Ted Levine to somewhat look like he's Rusty. Now that way it at least fits. But when you hear somebody else's voice and you know that's not Ted Levine, not even close, it's weird. It takes you out of the movie for a second. So honestly, That's my only negative for the entire movie. Other than that, huge fan of Joyride.
Hey, we're sorry!
Why'd you do it?
It's just for fun, just for a laugh.
You don't feel like getting together in a motel later. Room 17. Do not be 1 minute late.
Don't open the door! Don't open the door!
So if you're a fan of thrillers, if you're a fan of road movies, if you like Paul Walker, you like Steve Zahn, and even if you think Ted Levine's voice is creepy enough just to get you into the movie for that reason alone, definitely check out Joyride. It's one of the more underappreciated thrillers of the past 20 years. Love this movie to death, so check this thing out, add it to your collection, go out and buy it. So what do you guys think of Joyride? Are you a fan of this movie? Do you think that the alternate ending worked better or the ending that we got? Do you agree with me on showing Rusty Nail being a little bit of a negative, or do you think that that makes the third act that much better? Put all your thoughts on Joyride down in the comment section below. And should I watch 2 and 3? I know they're not going to be anywhere near as good, but I have not seen them. Put that down in the comment section below too, guys, and we will talk about it. And thank you so much, Jesse, for this recommendation. Loved talking about Joyride. So thank you, and thank you as always for your support on Patreon. Please like and share this video, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you guys want to check out some of my social media links, check the video description below for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spreadshirt for Cody Leach merchandise, including this brand new t-shirt just designed by the great Woody Bowen. So check that out, guys. This is available right now. And if you guys want to check out my Patreon page as well to join Jesse in the fun of being able to pick requested reviews, check that out in the video description. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, after you check out all of that other shit, you can check those out by clicking right over here.